Mick Jagger, the legendary frontman of the Rolling Stones, has spent more than 6 decades at the center of rock and roll history. Known for his electrifying stage presence and enduring influence on music, Jagger has seen the rise and fall of countless icons in the industry. Among the most heartbreaking moments of that history was the tragic murder of John Lennon in 1980, a loss that shook the entire world. For years, Jagger kept much of his personal thoughts about Lennon's death private. But now, at 82, he has begun to share the truth about how it impacted him, what he really knew about Lennon, and why that night still haunts him. John Lennon's death was more than just the loss of a former Beatle. It was a devastating reminder of the dark side of fame. When Lennon was shot outside his New York City home, millions of fans around the globe were left in shock. For Jagger, who had shared the same stage, the same era, and the same struggles of superstardom, the tragedy struck close to home. He later admitted that Lennon's death made him reevaluate everything about his own life, from the way he lived under the public eye to the dangers that came with being adored by millions. The truth Mick Jagger reveals is not just about the night Lennon was killed, but about the atmosphere leading up to it. He explains that Lennon had often spoken of his desire for peace, to live quietly with Yoko Ono and his family, but that fame never truly allowed him to escape. Jagger confesses that many artists of their generation lived with a constant tension between wanting normalcy and being trapped by the spotlight. Lennon's murder, in Jagger's words, was not just a crime, it was the ultimate price of fame. Jagger also opened up about how the tragedy changed the way the Rolling Stones moved forward. Security became stricter, privacy became more valued, and the carefree attitude of the 1960s and 1970s was gone forever. He revealed that Lennon's death was a wake-up call, a brutal reminder that being a rock legend came with risks that no one had anticipated in the early days of their careers. For Jagger, it wasn't just losing a fellow musician. It was losing a friend who had walked the same path of extraordinary highs and unimaginable pressures. Another truth Jagger exposed was the emotional toll it took on him personally. He admitted that Lennon's death forced him to think about his own mortality for the first time. In interviews, Jagger said that watching someone as influential as Lennon fall to such senseless violence left him shaken, realizing that no amount of fame, wealth, or talent could protect someone from tragedy. It was a harsh reality that changed him deeply. Even decades later, Jagger continues to speak of Lennon with admiration and sorrow. He describes Lennon as not just a brilliant songwriter and performer, but as a man who carried heavy burdens that the world often overlooked. For Jagger, telling the truth now at 82 is not about revisiting old wounds, but about honoring Lennon's legacy and reminding fans of the price he paid for being a voice of his generation. In the end, Mick Jagger's revelations about John Lennon's death highlight the fragile balance between greatness and vulnerability. To the world, Lennon was a legend. To Jagger, he was a friend and a symbol of how dangerous fame could truly be. At 82, Jagger's honesty reminds us that even rock gods are human, and that the scars of losing someone like John Lennon never truly fade.